We appreciate it. President Putin and I have been discussing various things, and I think it's going very well. We've had some very, very good talks. We're going to have a talk now, and obviously that will continue. But we look forward to a lot of very positive things happening for Russia, for the United States, and for everybody concerned. And it's an honor to be with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Уважаемый господин президент, мы с вами несколько раз разговаривали по телефону.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, we spoke over the phone with you several times.
По очень важным вопросам двусторонней повестки и международной.
On very important bilateral and international issues.
Конечно, телефонных разговоров недостаточно.
Well, phone conversation is never enough, definitely.
Если мы хотим решать вопросы позитивные двусторонней повестки дня, или наиболее важные острые вопросы международной повестки, то, конечно, такие встречи лично необходимы.
So if we want to have a positive development in bilaterals and be able to resolve most acute international topics and issues, definitely we need personal meetings.
Я очень рад с вами познакомиться, надеюсь, что, как вы сказали, наши встречи носят позитивный результат.
And I'm delighted to be able to meet you personally, Mr. President, and I hope, as you have said, our meeting will yield positive results with the news for us in the US.
Thank you.
Already today here in Germany, we have seen the first casual greeting between President Trump and President Putin. This handshake, just the sort of scene setter to their more formal discussions later on today. And NBC News has learned that in that meeting, set to last roughly half an hour, there will probably only be 6 people. An official familiar with the planning tells us the two presidents will be joined by the Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, the Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, and 2 translators. The group may not be big, but the significance certainly is. Already this morning, our first look at the first greeting between President Trump and President Putin, posted online by the German government. A handshake and pat on the back. The quick interaction before a more substantive one later today, a private meeting between the leaders. President Trump tweeting today, "I look forward to all my meetings today with world leaders, including my meeting with Vladimir Putin. Much to discuss." So what will they discuss? Most likely Syria, the fight against ISIS, and the state of U.S.-Russian relations, with, back home, growing calls from congressional Democrats for the president to confront Putin about Moscow's meddling in the 2016 election. An official familiar with the planning says the president and Putin will be joined by Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, and 2 translators. Already today, the president's been welcomed to the G20 by German Chancellor Angela Merkel, the summit's host, who greeted a parade of presidents and prime ministers, including Putin and China's leader, too, who could be critical in trying to defuse the threat from North Korea. President Trump now saying he hasn't lost hope President Xi can put pressure on Pyongyang.
Never give up.
The two are set to talk later in Hamburg, with the president holding multiple meetings behind closed doors. As out in the streets, more protests again today. Anti-capitalist demonstrators facing off against riot police. Hamburg police say more than 100 officers were hurt after yesterday's protests, with 29 people arrested. Smoke from burning cars visible. And those protests have already created some problems here at the G20. A spokesperson for First Lady Melania Trump says she has been prevented from leaving the residence she's staying at here in Hamburg because of the streets being blocked. Hamburg police, we're told, wouldn't clear her to head outside. Matt?
All right, Hallie Jackson. Hallie, thank you very much.